We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Vampire the Masquerade issue 3. This is from Vault Comics in 2020, written by Tim Seeley, drawn by Devmalya Pramanik, with the backup story called The Anarchs Tales, written by Tini Howard and Blake Howard, drawn by Nathan Gooden. Both stories were colored by Addison Duke and lettered by Andworld. We pick up where we left off with Bain and her new friend Alejandra, who she has taken a liking to for some reason, and the two of them are at a crime scene where a bunch of vampires were attacked and killed. These were Nosferatus, and Alejandra finds the flash drive from last issue, and she's able to get it to work even on the ancient computer Bain has, but they can't make sense of what it means. So they do kind of get an idea of where to go to check it out, and it's a character from the first issue, but somebody's already beaten them to the location, and they're ghouls. Ghouls that are harvesting body parts from vampires and mixing it with sorcery to enhance themselves, I guess. It's a little nebulous. A fight ensues, and we get to see Bain in action, and she uses some celerity. They don't call it that, but there is somebody that tries to use hypnotism on her, and things get kind of ugly real fast. Bain wants to find out a little bit more about Alejandra's abilities, because she wasn't affected quite by the mesmerism, and they don't really know who her sire is, so they would like to know more about her powers. But before that can happen, something really bad happens, and that could really shake things up. So there's a lot of underlying politics going on within this. Who's causing all this stuff is still yet to be revealed. Meanwhile, in the Anarch tales, the hunters seem to have captured one of the vampires and injured other ones, so it's left to King Rat to try and save them, and we get some of his backstory interspersed in here and how he is part of the Nosferatu. Then at the very end of the issue, we have some more of the supplemental materials for the role-playing game, which I think is a really good idea. It's only like 4 or 5 pages, something like that, but it's got some cool additions in there. The main story is definitely the best one. I'm not a huge fan of the art, but I don't mind it too much. Problem I had with the art style is actually the action scenes, because the artist's roots and obvious love of manga and anime really shines through here, with very exaggerated body proportions, and it made it look kind of silly. If they'd kept the action lines and gone with normal proportions, I think it would have looked a lot better. But having the over-exaggerated look really provides this confusing animation art style that I don't think is going to be very popular with most people, when the regular art is probably subjective enough that you could attract different audiences. So I think if the artist kind of dialed back the exaggeration during the fight scenes, they would look a lot better. I don't hate the art, I just don't like the action scenes with the weirdly exaggerated body proportions. That was really bad. The art in the backup story is a little bit better, but the story was incredibly weak and boring. I don't care about that character at all. The backup story was definitely aiming to try and exert some sort of emotion out of you, and it did it poorly. I wasn't impressed with the story. It felt like they were padding it and dragging it out, and I don't think that really worked. I think it was just more of the same kind of boring storytelling that we're getting from Marvel and many other comics these days, where they're just trying to play up a bunch of nonsense parts when it really should be a little more interesting and action-oriented maybe. A lot of this story was fluff. But overall, I will recommend the issue. The main story is great. Tim Seeley's doing a good job. It's really interesting. I'm intrigued to see where issue 4 goes. So I'm going to recommend it. Like I said, I have a little bit of problems with elements of some of the art, but not all of it. Overall, it's a good read. If you get a chance to check it out, I would say do so. Definitely worth looking into. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel in other ways, links to my Patreon, Streamlabs, and Teespring store are in the description, or share the video around if you can. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.